Hello, I'm David, and today we're going to be reviewing Lenovo's ultra-portable business laptop, the Lenovo ThinkPad Edge. Let's take a closer look. It says ThinkPad on it. It comes in black and even has a red dot in the middle of the keyboard, but this is not your classic ThinkPad. Our model had a glossy black paint job, which is rather reminiscent of a paint job on a car, but it's not just black plastic, it's rather painted. I was even tempted to get my buffer out and get a nice reflection going. The silver trim surrounding this machine is actually a nice touch. It gives it some contrast without looking tacky or showy. As long as you aren't comparing this to the classic ThinkPad, I think most of you will find the aesthetics rather pleasing. The observant will also note that there is no LCD latch on these models, but I wasn't missing it. The hinges keep the LCD nice and taut whether open or closed. There is no traditional LED indicators on the Edge 13. Rather, there's a small LED next to the power plug that indicates charging state, and the controversial red LED in the ThinkPad logo has carried over from the SL series. This is my first time with Lenovo's new isolation iron style keyboard design, introduced on the Edge and the X100E ThinkPads. We all trusted Lenovo not to mess with the feel of their keyboards, and it's safe to say they didn't. The tactile feedback and the key travel on the Edge 13's keyboard is as good as the ThinkPad T410 in previous models. The only hiccup with typing on the Edge comes from its key layout. Like the ThinkPad X100E and the SL models, the Edge 13 has a more compact 6-row design. As is also common with island keyboard designs these days, the F1 through F12 keys have their default function overridden by more common system functions like system brightness, speaker volume, and more. For those who were wishing Lenovo would put the track point, the red pointy thingy for all you non-ThinkPadders, on more machines than the classic ThinkPads, this is it. This is the closest thing we're going to see to a consumer laptop with a track point. The design is a little different from the other revamped track points on the T400 series and newer models, but it works just as well as it does any other ThinkPad. The touchpad is very slick and smooth, so much that it's difficult to tell if you're on the palm rest or on the touchpad without looking. The response is also a bit iffy. Sometimes I had to redo my motion to get registered. Modern ThinkPads haven't been very strong in their display department, especially the low to mid-range ones, and the Edge 13 is no different. The 13 by 3 inch 16 by 9 ratio display has a glossy finish with a respectable 1366 by 768 pixels. Unfortunately, it suffers from poor viewing angles that left me regularly adjusting the screen to find that perfect angle. The brightness is respectable and impressive, and the color saturation was about average. Most displays in this price range aren't terribly impressive, but rather sufficient for average users. On this level, the Edge 13 is competent. Also of note is that unlike most consumer-oriented machines, the ThinkPad Edge 13 keeps its namesake feature of allowing the display to fold completely flat. While this isn't much of a functional feature, it's more of a safety margin, so if the machine is dropped or sat on, at least the hinges aren't the first breaking point. While technically built for a small business on a budget, the Edge models managed to keep a respectable multimedia reputation and even have a step ahead of the other ThinkPad models with an HDMI output. You still get a VGA output too, so this machine will work with your 5-year-old LCD monitor or your brand new HD TV. The speakers get decently loud, actually comparable with the new ThinkPad T410, but of course the sound quality is as mediocre as most other laptops. A 5-in-1 card reader is also included on all models, but conspicuously absent is an express card slot of any type. There is no optical drive at all, but that is to be expected at this price and size. The mic and headphone jacks are combined into one jack as with all recent ThinkPads, but I've yet to come across an adapter that allows the use of a split headphone and mic jacks. What we liked about the Edge 13 was that it was thin and light, it had decent battery life, a good build, and a very solid keyboard. What we really didn't like about it was that it only had sufficient performance, it had a slightly odd keyboard layout, and a mediocre screen. So that's our review. Be sure to check out logicbuy.com on all the deals and coupons that we have on the Lenovo ThinkPad Edge and all the other ThinkPads that we have available. See you next time.